Welcome to this short. Today's short is just a little bit about why we feel too much. This is for people who feel too much. And how do you know whether you feel too much? So the top tip on me is to say the reason you know if you feel too much is that you care so much, that we can feel the energy of a room of people. We can care how things happen out. We can think deeply, and we can think a lot about things and play things over in our minds. So, for example, if you had a really good friend and that friend for some reason disappeared, how would you feel about it? Would it be easy to let it go? So I had, for example, a really good friend. Didn't know her in person, but knew her through online and got to know her extremely well over a long period of time. And we would meet, talk really regularly. And then one day, she just didn't show up. And I didn't hear anything more. And she moved on. And that was fine. But for me, there was a real lack of closure. I had no idea why. And I missed her. I missed her company. I missed having a chat with her. So we have this real thing of needing to fix something. What went wrong? What happened? Is there a reason why you're not wanting to be in contact anymore? Is there a reason why we're not speaking? There was no animosity. So we feel this real feelings of caring about not just how somebody thinks about us, but the situation, caring about how somebody else feels, how somebody else is reacting. And we really want to fix it, and end on have an ending that comes to a conclusion rather than just something finishing and sort of hanging there. So do you care a lot? Do you ever feel like there's things that happen and you just want to fix it, and you maybe go over it in your mind and you just play on it, and you want to take somebody else's pain and discomfort away, that you want to be able to just sort that out for somebody else? If you ever feel like that, maybe you're a person who feels too much. And a person who feels too much can be a really deep thinker, can really contemplate, go over sentences, go over go over emotions, go over things that happened. And it's a bit like people say, just let it go. Just let it go. But letting it go is easier said than done. And sometimes it can be really, more tricky to let it go. We almost have to work through that emotion and exhaust that process before we can kind of let it go and find a peace with it. But we can't just let it go and walk away with it straight away. So there's a part of working through, there's a part of acknowledging this is just who I am. This is just how I'm feeling in a moment. This is just my experience. And this experience is temporary. I can allow myself to feel it, to know that it's happening. But I don't have to let myself get so caught up in it. I can see the impermanence of it. I can see the impermanence of that feeling and that emotion, and know that this too shall pass, and that I'm not to blame for everything that goes on. Nobody's to blame for everything that goes on. And we can think, this too will go. There is an impermanence, that people come into our life for a reason. There is a synchronicity with each and every person. And just sit and allow and acknowledge how we're feeling. Just sit with that deepness We can't control somebody else's behaviour, but we can learn to have compassion and love and accept what we're experiencing is what we're experiencing. And when we feel too much, there are certain tactics that a person who feels too much will bring about, and we'll talk about that in another video. But for now, just realise that if you are a person who feels a lot and feels deeply, you can learn to see those and feel those thoughts and the impermanence of those thoughts. To come back to yourself, to show yourself extra love at that time, that we're not responsible for somebody else's actions, that we can't always make everything right, we can't always fix everything, but we can support ourselves in a way that helps us to learn, to grow, and to feel in the moment, and to know that we're enough. I hope this helps if you too are a person who feels a lot. I'll explain more in another video. Take care.